was a day that was laden with symbolism, but also a certain amount of substance, if not quite as much as the Ukrainians would like, probably. In terms of symbolism, Zelensky is described and compared by many to Winston Churchill. He's referred to as the Churchill of our times. Well, Chequers was the wartime retreat for Winston Churchill, and therefore hosted by Rishi Sunak here. He took him to the room where Winston Churchill delivered some of his radio broadcasts during the war. He took them through the gardens, and to the right of me you could just probably make out an avenue of beech trees. Now that's an avenue, it's called the Victory Avenue. It was planted by Winston Churchill, and the Prime Minister showed the President that avenue as well, and he invited him to come here by Chinook helicopter. So this is a leader, a wartime president, being invited here to a place that is laden with symbolism at what Rishi Sunak described as a crucial, pivotal moment in this war. But in terms of what help Britain and allies can give Zelensky at that pivotal moment, well, we're hearing more about things like anti-aircraft missiles and anti-aircraft defence. Is more about long-range drones that the British are giving, in addition to the long-range precision-guided missiles they promised last time that the Ukrainians are finally getting. But in terms of fighter jets, which is what the Ukrainians want most of all, it's still a bit of a long-term ambition. So the fighter jet pilots that the Ukrainians are sending here will only, the training for them that the British have offered, that'll only start in the summer. And Rishi Sunak is still talking about this coalition of countries that will be sending jets or sending what they can to help that process continue. So I think that will be reassuring to the President, but he said in that press conference on the patio a little earlier that at the moment Ukraine doesn't have control of the air and needs it. And I think the question marks remain over the timing of this much vaunted, long-awaited counter-offensive the Ukrainians are planning. They now have the tanks that were promised by the West and have now reached them, more than 200 tanks, but they still don't have that air superiority they're not going to have for most of this year. And I think there are question marks about that. And I think the longer we wait for this counter-offensive, the more doubts really there will be about their ability to wage it effectively.